And just like that, the trade deadline is over. I'm not gonna lie, this was a very interesting trade deadline. Way more trades happened than I thought would happen, and a lot of teams got better, especially in the West. I'm not gonna lie, the West, I think since last season, the East became the West has been the better conference for years, like 20 plus years, and then I thought last season the East became the better conference again, and as well as this year. But I'm not gonna lie, after this trade deadline, I think the West is back to being the better conference, the deeper conference. The East is looking top heavy again now because you remove the Nets as contenders completely. So you only have 3 real contenders in the East. And the West now, there are a few contenders now. So I'm gonna go over the trades in order of what they happened. Some trades gonna go back to it's probably gonna be like something that happens that goes back to a trade that happened a while ago. So it's gonna be a little back and forth, but bear with me. So the first trade to kick it off was Kyrie and Markieff Morris to the Mavericks for Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, a 2029 first and 2 second-round picks in 2027 and 2029. I thought this was a good trade for the Mavericks. You got a star player in Kyrie Irving, even if it might possibly be just a rental. You got him for 2 role players. Basically, you're replacing Spencer Dinwiddie's production and getting even more production with Kyrie. I think your biggest loss is Dorian Finney-Smith. You lose your best and I'm not gonna say only, but you lose your best point of attack defender. So that is an issue that I was hoping they addressed in the before the trade deadline, which they did not. However, after I go through the trades, there are a lot of buyouts. The buyout market is really good now, so maybe they can improve that in the buyout market, but we shall see. So I think that was the first trade. That was a few days ago. That was like on Sunday. And then yesterday, trades started kicking off again. The next big trade, in my opinion, was the Westbrook trade. The Lakers traded Russell Westbrook. It was a 3-team trade. They got D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, and Jared Vanderbilt. Utah got Russell Westbrook, Juan Toscano Anderson, Damian Jones, and a first-round pick. And Minnesota got Mike Conley, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and 3 seconds. For LA, this was an amazing trade. I think this was like a great rebound from them not getting Kyrie. I think they rebounded pretty well. They only gave up 1 first, and they got rid of Westbrook, who did not fit with them, at all. You end up getting another point guard who does need the ball in their hand, yes, but they're a better shooter and a better off-ball player than Westbrook. And they're not making as much money. They're also an expiring contract, so you can re-sign him in the offseason for less, and if he does choose to leave, you free up a lot of cap space, which you can use for more players. Malik Beasley, a good 3-and-D2 guard, can shoot, space forward, get his own shot. He's a good piece to add. And Jared Vanderbilt, good spot-up shooter, great defender. You mostly bring him in for the defense. For Utah, it's an alright trade. You get Westbrook, who you're planning on buying out, so Westbrook's going to be in the buyout market. I think right now the teams that he's been linked to the most are the Clippers and the Heat, more so the Clippers, especially after recently. But I guess that bridge will cross when we get to it. And Minnesota, I'm not gonna lie, this is terrible. I don't know what Minnesota's doing. I thought they were planning on going all in, trying to try to get better in the West. When they made that Gobert trade, they went all in, 5 first-round picks. They was like, "Oh, we going all in." Now, especially after I go over more trades, it's bad for them. That Gobert trade looks worse and worse every day. Because now even after all the trades they're doing, they might not even be a top 8 team in the West anymore, bruh. So that's tough. So the next decent trade that happened was Knicks and Blazers. The Knicks got Josh Hart, and the Blazers got Cam Reddish, Ryan Arcidiacono, and Shavit Mikhailuk, and a protected first-round pick. I think W trade for the Knicks. You get a 2-3 combo guard forward. Good spot-up shooter, good defender, hustle player, does the things that don't show up in the box score. I think that's a really good pickup for them. And the Blazers, I don't think it's a bad move because you get Cam Reddish, who I think is good, who is to me, he's on the same level of Josh Hart, but he hasn't gotten a chance to shine yet. So I think if the Blazers give him that chance, I think he can get real good production out of him. I think Ryan, Arcidiacono, and Mekhi Luke are more salary filler, just like end of bench guys. And then you get a protected first out of it. So I mean, I guess it's alright for the Blazers, but I think that was a really good trade for the Knicks. Raptors got Jakob Poeltl from the Spurs, and then the Spurs got Khem Birch, a protected first-round pick, and 2 second-round picks. I think for the Raptors, it was a good trade because I think before this trade, they were looking on selling, maybe retooling, rebuilding. Like, there was rumors of OG Anunoby getting traded, Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, Gary Trent Jr. Now, I think with a move like this, it's like, okay, I think you become buyers in the deadline instead of sellers. And I think like he fits the team well. You don't gotta run Scotty Barnes or pass out the 5 anymore. You have a real 5 now, a defensive 5. So I think that helps a lot. All you gave up was Khem Birch, who is a decent backup big, but he wasn't really contributing much. So I think that's a good trade for them. Then obviously the next trade was the one that broke Twitter yesterday. Kevin Durant to the Suns. I made a whole separate video on that, sharing my opinions on it. I'm just gonna slightly go over it again. It was KD and TJ Warren for Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder, and 4 first-round picks and a pick swap. You know, I think it was a good trade for the Suns. You got a top 5 player in the league without giving up your 3 best players, which is unheard of. And even after all that, you think you lose a lot of depth, but you still have depth. I think they lost a little bit of defense, but you look on paper, their roster isn't bad defensively, even after losing their 3 main defensive guys. And I'm not even going to say 3, 2, because Jay Crowder wasn't even playing for them this season. He was sitting out this season for them, so you lose your 2 main defensive guys, but you still have Torrey Craig off the bench, and they made another trade to get more defense, which we'll go over in a bit. So I think it was a good trade for the Suns. For the Nets, this is a terrible trade. Like, for a guy like Kevin Durant, a top 5 player in the league, and this was what you got back. You got 3 role players and picks. I mean, I guess, but like, you didn't get no young star, you didn't get a rise star, you didn't get a all-star caliber player right now. It's a really bad trade. I'm not gonna lie. I like Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges is a good player, but he is not he's not a player of the caliber of leading a trade package for Kevin Durant or any other player in that caliber. That's just not a good trade. Alright, the next one is a small one. Boston got Mike Muscala from the Thunder, and Boston gave the Thunder Justin Jackson and 2 second-round picks. I think this is a good trade for Boston. I think for both sides. OKC, you don't really need Mike Muscala. He doesn't fit your timeline. You get 2 seconds out of it, whatever. Boston, you get Mike Muscala. You get a good 6'11" or 7-foot center that can shoot. He's alright. Defense, he's not bad. And I think you just get more big man depth. So if Al Horford or Robert Williams is out, you don't have to play Luke Cornett minutes, or you have to play Blake Griffin at the 5. You have you have a contingency for if you gotta sit Robert Williams or Al Horford out, which has happened a decent amount this season, where Robert Williams was injured for most of the start of the year, and every once in a while he missed games like to rest or just to manage his injury. Al Horford is getting old, so he's not out there playing every single game, 40 minutes a game, you know. So you gotta rest these guys every once in a while. And Mike Muscala is a good, I think, solution because especially we saw against the Sixers they played yesterday or 2 days ago. Al Horford and Robert Williams are out. You were starting Blake Griffin at center, a washed old Blake Griffin at center, and Luke Cornett as your backup center. I'm not gonna lie, that's not the best. So I think this helps with that. So I think it's a good trade for the Celtics. You didn't give up much. You gave up a player that's not playing any minutes in 2 seconds. The next trade is, to me, a confusing one. The Lakers traded Thomas Bryant to the Nuggets for Devon Reed and 3 second-round picks. I don't get this trade. I really don't. Like, Thomas Bryant's been really good for the Lakers, and you get him back for someone who's not going to get any minutes and 3 seconds, I guess, to get more draft capital, maybe for future trades or just to have just in case, I guess. But they're not even first, they're just seconds. So I don't know. I wasn't a fan of this trade. They made better trades later on today. They made better trades later on. So I guess, but this was, in my opinion, this was not a good trade for the Lakers. For the Nuggets, I think that was a great trade. You get a good backup big, so when Jokic comes off the floor, you got Thomas Bryant in, can space the floor, shoot really well. Defensively, you know, like I think it's a good fit. I think he's a good fit with the Nuggets. So, alright, so the next trade, it was a 3-team trade between the Blazers, Sixers, and Hornets. The Blazers get Matisse Thybulle from the Sixers. The Sixers get Jalen McDaniels from the Hornets. And the Hornets got multiple second-round picks, and they get Shavit Mikhailuk, who was part of the Knicks trade, so he's getting rerouted to the Hornets. So I think the Blazers, it's a trade. I mean, you lost Josh Hart, you get Cam Reddish, but you still want to retain some of that defense. So now you get that with Matisse Thybulle. For the Sixers, I think this is a great trade. You get maybe not as much defense as you had for Matisse Thybulle, but you still get a lot of defense. Excuse me. You still get a lot of defense while getting better shooting. I think Matisse's biggest weakness was him not being an offensive threat. That's why it was hard for the Sixers to keep him on the floor. No matter how good he is defensively, offensively, he was a liability. I think you fix that because you get someone almost as good defensively, but a lot better offensively, that can hit a shot, create his own shot. He's athletic, he can dunk, he can get high. So I think that's going to be a good lob threat for Harden. Some pick and pop action with that. And Hornets, you get seconds, and you get the young player in Mikhailuk, I guess. I don't know. This doesn't really affect the Hornets, really. Like, does it make them better? Definitely doesn't make them better. Maybe a little worse, but the Hornets are already one of the worst teams in the league, so to me it don't really matter. Alright, so this next trade is a little confusing. So originally it came out that the Bucks are trading 5 second-round picks for Jay Crowder. So Jay Crowder was part of the Kevin Durant trade, and he went to the Nets, and he's being rerouted to the Bucks. So I thought that was it, but then it came out that that the Bucks are sending Serge Ibaka to the Pacers with Jay Crowder, so it was a 3-team trade. So the Bucks get Jay Crowder, the Nets get 5 second-rounders, and the Pacers get Serge Ibaka. To my knowledge, that's the full trade, basically. If I'm missing anything, someone can comment down below, because that one was a complicated trade in my opinion, and it wasn't like there wasn't no reports really that I saw at the moment showing the full trade breakdown of who gets what. So maybe when I'm editing this I can find that, but right now I don't have that. So the next trade, the Thunder traded with the Suns. So the Suns got Darius Bazley for Dario Saric and a second-round pick. I think this is a good trade for both. I think this is a good trade for the Suns. I think you get a young wing power forward, not as good of a shooter as Dario Saric, still an alright shooter, but more athletic, better defensively. So I think you put that in a starting lineup with KD probably at the 3 and DeAndre in, or unless they're planning on bringing him off the bench, start KD at the 4, maybe have Torrey Craig. I don't know. So there's a few possibilities that the Suns could do. But I think it's a good trade. You get a younger piece, more athletic, better defense. So I think this is a good trade for the Suns. For the Thunder, I mean, it's not a bad trade. Maybe they're planning on buying Sarge out, or maybe I think Sarge's contract doesn't last much longer, so maybe you get cap space from it. Because I don't know. I mean, you traded a younger guy for an older guy when I don't know. So we'll see what the Thunder does with that. Now, this next trade is, in my opinion, a really good trade, at least for one team. So the Nuggets traded Bones Highland to the Clippers for 2 second-round picks. That's it. That's an amazing trade for the Clippers. You get a good young point guard that can honestly can get you 15 to 25 a game for 2 seconds and nothing else. That's an amazing trade for the Clippers. For the Nuggets, I have no idea why they do that. That's a horrible trade for the Nuggets. I felt like you could have got way more for. I think they were saying they wanted to trade Bones for a while, but they could have got way more than 2 seconds for him. So I don't know. We'll see what the Nuggets do with that, I guess. But I think it's really good for the what's it called? For the Clippers. Alright, so the next trade, it was another 3-team trade where the Warriors, Hawks, and Pistons traded. So The Warriors got 5 second-round picks. And they got Kevin Knox. The Hawks got Saddiq Bey, and the Pistons got James Wiseman. When this first came out, it didn't show the. It came out. It just said the Warriors got 5 second-round picks. Hawks got Saddiq, and Pistons got James Wiseman. I'm here waiting, and a lot of people were waiting, thinking the Warriors were going to get something from the Hawks. A lot of people were expecting John Collins or DeAndre Hunter, but no. Kevin Knox is what they got. That is a terrible trade for the Warriors, but at the same time. So I think on paper it's a bad trade, but also I think by trading James Wiseman and they don't get anything back. Let me see if I can find it. I'm pretty sure they just freed up. They wouldn't have to pay like $113 million because of trading him. It was something like that. By trading James Wiseman, the Warriors don't have to pay like $112 million. So I think if that's the reason to do it, I guess, but. I don't know. I feel like you could have got something back. In the next trade, the Lakers got Mo Bamba for Pat Bev and second round draft compensation. This is an amazing trade for the Lakers. You trade Pat Bev, who I don't think is bad as other people say he is, but Pat Bev at this point in time doesn't really fit in your rotation. I think you have better guards to play than him, so I just don't think it would have worked out. But now you traded Thomas Bryant, and I was gonna say that was a bad trade. Now you lack center depth. Now you get Mo Bamba, who's not as good of a shooter, but way better defensively, and you can run him with AD. AD doesn't have to play right under the rim, guard playing center. Now you have a real defensive center to play next to AD. AD can roam, which I think is his strong suit, and I think this genuinely does make the Lakers better. So this next thing was a 3-team trade between the Rockets, Clippers, and Grizzlies. The Rockets got John Wall. The Grizzlies got Luke Kennard, and then the Clippers got Eric Gordon, Danny Green, and 3 second-round picks. Again, I think this is a great trade for the Clippers. The Clippers made a lot of good moves this trade deadline. You get Aaron Gordon, dude who can score, shoot off the bench. I think he's gonna be a great piece. And Danny Green, a 3-and-D wing, spot up shooting, defense. You get that from him, and you get seconds, which I actually didn't even realize until now. You get rid of Luke Kennard's contract because that wasn't a good contract, and you also get rid of John Wall, who you were planning on trading. No teams wanted him, and now you send him back to the Rockets. So Wall is now back with the Rockets, but the Rockets said they're planning on buying him out. So John Wall is probably going to be another player in the buyout market. So we'll see what happens with that. And the next one, the Hornets traded Mason Plumlee for Reggie Jackson. So the Hornets got Mason Plumlee. They finally got a backup center. They finally did it, and they get rid of Reggie Jackson. So basically, now after the problem with the Clippers is that their only real center was Ivica Zubac. After he came off the court, they always had Nicholas Batum or Marcus Morris starting at center, and that was just terrible. It's like, bro, these are small forwards, at best power forwards, playing center against guys like Jokic and Anthony Davis. It just didn't work. Now you have a 6'11", 7-foot center that's gonna come off the bench, and then you have real size, a lob threat, protect the paint. So I think the Clippers made a lot of good moves. I think the Clippers are the biggest winners in the deadline. They got a lot better. They got way better. I think this deadline made the West a lot better. But there are definitely losers. I think the Grizzlies are big losers in this deadline. They didn't make any big moves. It's kind of funny how John Morant, like a while ago, said, "Oh, we not worried about anyone in the West," and now there's so many teams that got better in the West. So now I'm not gonna lie, yeah, I gotta worry about the West. The Heat are losers in this shit. They didn't make a single trade. They didn't get better. So I don't know what they was trying to do. The Timberwolves are losers because, my God, y'all got way worse. Y'all got worse, and your conference got way better. So I don't know what they're planning on doing there. I think it's going to get to a point where they're going to trade Cat soon. They're going to start looking for, maybe this offseason, they're going to start looking for trades for Cat. Maybe try to move Gobert again and then just build around Anthony Edwards, like start from scratch. But, I think, like, the West is stacked. Like, now you have the Suns, obviously, contenders, Mavericks, Clippers are contenders again because they got better. The Lakers, even though they're a really low seed, the Lakers got better. So I'm be honest, hot take, I'm putting the Lakers back in contender status right now. If they can get into at least a play-in, I think they're contenders again because they can beat the other teams in a play-in situation. And in the playoffs, I'm not gonna lie, let's say they play the Nuggets in the first round. The Nuggets are still contenders, but I'm not gonna lie. Like, I think the Lakers can beat the Nuggets in the first round series. Like, I don't know. So that's just like 5 teams on some, and you still have the Warriors, who, I mean, I don't think they got better this deadline, but you still can't count them out. So that's 6 teams that are like contenders for real. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. I think this was a very interesting trade deadline, but yeah, I mean, we shall see what happens. Alright, y'all, let me know what y'all think of what happened at the trade deadline. Let me know what y'all think about buyout candidates and where some buyout players can go, because I think the buyout market's good this year, so maybe like they can make which contenders they can make better. Let me know who y'all think is winners and losers. And yeah, I'll catch y'all.